In 2006, Nico Horn, professor in human rights and law for the University of Zambia, published an article in the December issue of the Studies in Ecclesiastical History on the subject of Pentecostalism's role in apartheid, the South African political system of segregation and discrimination on the grounds of race. Horn took notice of the political power held by Pentecostals in South Africa, and upon investigation, found that the intersection of the second wave of Pentecostalism and apartheid during the decades from the 1950s to the 1980s were beyond coincidental. When the British Israel-inspired latter-rain movement began to spread into Africa, Pentecostals in South Africa began to adopt the themes of British Israelism and Christian identity that flowed from the United States. Similar to the U.S. version of the movement, the South African Pentecostals politically aligned against communism in apocalyptic themes while implementing racial segregation. It wasn't until 1994 that the black churches began to integrate and the AFM began to unify itself with the black churches. Horn established a timeline from the early apostolic faith missions to apartheid and noticed that the Pentecostal leaders heavily influenced South African politics. Under the leadership of A.J. Showman and J.T. du Plessis, the brother of Mr. Pentecost, David du Plessis, the AFM had established a new order, an unofficial group of young pastors focused on war and politics. During the 1950s, the most active years of latter rain, Pentecostal empowerment meant state recognition, and Pentecostals were appointed as chaplains in the South African Defense Force. Wessels was very vocal in his support of the National Party, which promised to an all-white electorate that it would implement apartheid. You can learn this and more on william-branham.org.